Hi, my name is Jeff Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm going to start a series of videos that I'm going to call the Texas Family Law Foundation Betrayal of Trust. The Texas Family Law Foundation Betrayal of Trust. Divorce attorneys want you to trust them with divorce. Divorce attorneys want you to believe that if you get divorced from your spouse, everything's going to be okay. Divorce attorneys want you to believe that somehow, as they are helping to destroy your family, that you are acting in the best interest of the children. And yet, in study after study, and even as the American College of Pediatricians put out, it is almost always in the best interest of the children for two parents to be raising the children together in an intact home, period. I came across this article in 1964 from William L. Morrow, and I came across the article from the Southern Methodist University Dedman School of Law. This article is entitled Divorce Reform in Texas, The Path of Reason. Now, William Morrow makes some outstanding points in this article. Let me read part of it to you. He starts off by saying, the divorce system in Texas is a failure. The legal procedures prescribed by statutes provide a completely ineffective answer to the critical problems of contemporary family life. Divorce, in many respects, is our number one social problem. I wonder if you talked with the Texas Family Law Foundation if they would tell you that divorce, in many respects, is our number one social problem, or if they would come up with something else, perhaps that staying in a marriage is the number one social problem. Mr. Morrow continues, the marriages of recent decades have been falling apart in astonishingly large numbers. To give some context to this was before the advent of no-fault divorce. This was before we had divorce on demand, and already he was saying the marriages of recent decades have been falling apart in astonishingly large numbers. Had he been able to see 15 years into the future, he would have been shocked at how minuscule the numbers may have seemed at that time. Broken homes, quarreling parents, and emotionally disturbed children have become commonplace in a restless society that lacks steadfastness in purpose or attachment. The dull statistics of divorce tell the dramatic story of disappearing permanence of American marriage. Today, more and more couples, upon reaching some crisis in their lives, look to the divorce courts for a solution to their trouble. And here is where the Texas Family Law Foundation would say, oh, are you having trouble in your marriage? Come see us. We can help you solve your problems. And yet this person back in 1964 is being honest and saying they look to the divorce courts for a solution to their problems. However, the tragic truth is that our courts offer no solution. One would reasonably expect our laws on marriage and divorce, wherein the state and society have such overwhelming interest. You mean to tell me that the state has an interest in seeing your marriage stay together and does not have an interest in seeing your marriage fall apart? Well, back in 1964, most people thought that the state had an interest in seeing your marriage stay together. 2018, maybe not so much. But in 1964, the state had an interest in seeing your marriage stay together. One would reasonably expect our laws on marriage and divorce, wherein the state and society have such overwhelming interests, not just one, interests, multiple interests, to reflect keen analysis of the complex problems of family disorganization. In other words, when the family gets destroyed via divorce. But this is far from the case. The Texas law of divorce exists in a curious world of legalistic make-believes. He adds, divorce procedures are absurdly interwoven with fact and fiction, reality and myth, truth and perjury. And if anybody goes to the family courts today in Texas, you would know that lies and perjury are very commonplace in divorce courts today. In fact, The judges seem to not even care if you are lying to them and committing perjury. He continues by saying, under present Texas laws, divorce is available for asking through compliance with certain required formalities. It is common knowledge that divorce proceedings are nothing but brief rituals of legal hocus pocus designed to dramatize the defendant's guilt and hence justify marriage dissolution. The statutory grounds, itemized in Article 4629, and this was an old code, are merely artificial technicalities that serve as bases for what is in effect divorce by consent. It's very interesting because this man here is concerned about mutual divorce, consensual divorce. Today in the state of Texas, it is commonplace for divorce to be forced divorce, unilateral divorce, divorce on demand, divorce against the wishes and desires of an unwilling and reluctant spouse to be divorced. In the state of Texas, always, 100% of the time, sides with the person filing for divorce, even if he or she is the cause of the divorce. Furthermore, the statutes provide no facilities that enable courts to conduct a realistic inquiry into the family dispute or even into such vitally important issues of divorce as custody and the support of children. It's very interesting that this man right here is saying that courts should conduct a realistic inquiry into family disputes or into other such items of concern that arise with divorce. As we know today, the courts are a charade. They are a sham. They are kangaroo courts. There is no such inquiry because we have what is known in Texas and throughout this country as no-fault divorce. And actually, a better description of it would be unilateral no-fault divorce. One person gets to divorce another person, gets to destroy a family, children included, because he or she is selfish and is concerned more about his interests or her interests than the family's interest. And the state of Texas always sides with that individual. This man also continues on by saying this, and I would make note of this to the Texas Family Law Foundation, which is such an ardent supporter of divorce on demand, forced divorce, unilateral divorce. He says, if a spark of life remains in the marriage after the couple has sought judicial resolution of their conflict, the courts are helpless. Texas laws provide no means or procedures to determine if the marriage could be saved or if something other than divorce might solve the marital conflict. This kind of sounds like the Texas Family Law Foundation that he's speaking about back then. Of course we must have divorce. And remember, the people that are for forced divorce are the people that are making a lot of money exploiting you, your finances, to justify it. But he is saying that if there is any spark of life left in the marriage, any chance of reconciliation, any way other than divorce, those things should be explored. I would love to see if the Texas Family Law Foundation would actually agree with this proposition. Because in fact, there are divorce judges, people who presided over divorce that have said in their experience between 40 and 50% of the marriages could have been saved. They were needless divorces. If you are a divorce attorney, you are participating in many instances in a needless divorce. That is on you. As one jurist, a noted authority on matrimonial matters, has written, the result of the traditional marriage laws is that many divorces are granted when marriages could be saved. Again, this is a divorce attorney speaking, an honest divorce attorney, not one of these dishonest divorce attorneys, not one of these divorce attorneys who think, boy, oh boy, how much money can we take from this couple? Not one of these divorce attorneys who will be up there and say, well, we're acting in the best interest of the children while they are destroying the children's family. A real honest divorce attorney is saying that Many divorces are granted when marriages could be saved. Would the Texas Family Law Foundation take that position? And if so, what responsibility do they have to see if marriages can be saved? No discrimination is made between a marriage that is merely sick and needs help and a marriage that has become intolerable for both parties and is really dead. Imagine if you went to see a doctor and you were just sick and the doctor gave you a drug that killed you. And the next person came in to see the doctor and he or she was just sick and that doctor again gave that person a drug to kill him. You would say, something's wrong with this doctor. There's something morbid about him. He's a criminal. There is something wrong with him. He needs to be sued for malpractice. He needs to go to jail. He is killing people. Well, I am also speaking about divorce attorneys, because divorce attorneys will take marriages that maybe do have a problem at a time, that are sick, and they have one prescription: kill the marriage, destroy the family, ruin the lives and the families of the children. These divorce attorneys are criminal. Many of them belong to the Texas Family Law Foundation. The Texas divorce statutes render a distinct disservice to the family life of this state. The family life? I thought I had individual rights. I thought that I was the source of all pleasure and everything had to revolve around me. And yet this man is saying the Texas divorce statutes render a disservice, a distinct disservice to the family life of this state. The time is long overdue for a major overhaul of these anachronistic relics of medieval ages. This comment is dedicated to the task of examining the historical basis of the law as it exists and the essential criteria which should govern its reform. Part 2 of the Texas Family Law Foundation Betrayal of Trust will continue in the next video.